and judges at the International Criminal Court on Thursday confirmed charges of crimes against humanity against former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte for deadly anti-drug crackdowns he allegedly oversaw while in office. A three-judge panel found unanimously there were substantial grounds to believe the ex-leader was responsible for dozens of murders, first as mayor of the southern Philippine city of Davao and later when he was president. And a US Special Forces soldier involved in the military operation that captured Nicolas Maduro has been arrested after he allegedly bet on the removal of Venezuela's former leader before the information was publicly available. The US Department of Justice, DOJ, has charged Gannon Ken Van Dyke after he allegedly made trades on Polymarket, a crypto-powered platform, on the basis of classified information. And Meta will cut thousands of jobs next month as it spends more than ever on artificial intelligence AI projects. The company told employees in a memo on Thursday that it planned to cut 10% of its workforce, roughly 8,000 staff. It said it would also not fill thousands more open jobs it had been hiring for. And the United States Department of Justice has filed criminal charges against an active duty soldier for placing a bet on the abduction of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro using classified military information for personal profit. On Thursday, prosecutors accused Gannon Ken Van Dyke, 38, of cashing in on the operation against Maduro to the tune of more than $400,000. And three professors at Atlanta's Emory University in the United States have filed a lawsuit over their arrests during a 2024 campus protest over Israel's genocidal war on Gaza. Their lawsuit on Thursday argued that the university broke its own free speech policies when it called in police and state troopers to aggressively disband the protest, making 28 arrests. And a Special Forces soldier involved in the operation that captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has been indicted by the US Justice Department. His alleged crime? And making numerous bets on the prediction market, Polymarket, that Maduro would be removed from power, for which he is said to have made upwards of $400,000. Authorities claim Gannon Ken Van Dyke, and who was involved in the planning and execution of Operation Absolute Resolve. The stratagem that toppled and captured the Venezuelan leader made bets on Polymarket about whether the US would deploy forces into Venezuela and remove Maduro from power. And Meta is laying off about 8,000 workers, or about 10% of its workforce, the company has said, as it continues to ramp up spending on artificial intelligence infrastructure and highly paid AI expert hires. On Thursday, the company said it was making the cuts for the sake of efficiency and to allow new investments in parts of its business, as first reported by Bloomberg, which also said the company will leave about 6,000 jobs unfilled. And Redwood Materials Chief Operating Officer Chris Lister is leaving the battery recycling company to retire, TechCrunch has learned. And he's not the only executive that recently departed. Lister, and a former vice president who led operations at Tesla's Nevada Gigafactory, has been with Redwood since late 2023. He started as the company's chief supply chain officer and was quickly promoted to the COO role in 2024. And the promotion put him closer in the org chart to Redwood founder and CEO J.B. Straubel, who was Tesla's longtime chief technology officer and currently sits on the automaker's board.
The US says its forces have boarded a sanctioned ship carrying Iranian oil in the Indian Ocean in the country's latest naval move against Iran. The US Department of Defense, DoD, said in a statement it had carried out a maritime interdiction, the interception or inspection of a vessel by a Navy on ships suspected to be hostile or in violation of the law on the MT Majestic X.
And geopolitical conflicts, including the United States and Israel's war on Iran and the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, have fueled surging demand for US defense companies as the Pentagon races to replenish weapon and aircraft stockpiles. First quarter results posted this week from Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, RTX Corporation and Boeing saw limited growth as supply chain and production delays weighed on the industry. And Pope Leo has criticized the world's treatment of migrants and refugees, claiming that they are often viewed as worse than house pets or animals. Leo, who has previously attacked United States President Donald Trump's hardline immigration policies, called for better treatment of migrants as he flew back to Rome on Thursday following a four-nation Africa tour. And the European Union has given final approval to a €90 billion 105BN loan for Ukraine and a new round of sanctions on Russia in a boost for Kyiv after a prolonged row. The measures were signed off after Hungary and Slovakia dropped objections when Ukraine restarted oil flows following repairs to the damaged Druzhba pipeline. And the administration of Argentina's Javier Milei has restricted access to the presidential palace, the Casa Rosada, as part of an escalating feud with the country's journalists. Accredited journalists reportedly arrived at the Casa Rosada on Thursday and attempted to enter the building through fingerprint scanning, as they usually would. And over the past several months, many countries have announced plans to restrict social media access for children and teens. Australia became the first to implement such measures at the end of last year, and setting a precedent that other countries are now closely watching. Australia's regulations, along with other countries' proposals, aim to reduce the pressures and risks that young users may face on social media, which include cyberbullying and addiction, mental health issues, and exposure to predators. And Israeli police detained a Jewish man on Monday for wearing a kippah embroidered with an Israeli and a Palestinian flag, then cut up the religious head covering. He says, in a rare case that has drawn national attention, Alex Sinclair, and a 53-year-old author and adjunct lecturer at the Hebrew University, told CNN that police approached him while he was sitting at a cafe in his hometown of Modi'in, about 22 miles southeast of Tel Aviv. Within minutes, he said, and he was taken to a local police station, searched and detained.
Several Iranian officials have stressed that their country is united, rejecting United States President Donald Trump's claims of a rift in the leadership in Tehran. Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian, Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, and Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf all issued statements rejecting the United States President's assertion.
And the United States Department of the Treasury has announced sanctions against the Cambodian Senator Kok An, accusing the politician of using his influence and connections to protect a network of scam operators. The department's Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, said on Thursday that it would take action against An and 28 individuals and entities in his network, which is accused of enticing US citizens into giving away large amounts of money through fraudulent schemes. And Sierra, the customer service agent startup founded by Brett Taylor, announced on Thursday that it has acquired the YC-backed French startup Fragment, which helps businesses integrate AI into workflows. This is Sierra's third public acquisition. And it previously bowed Japan-based enterprise AI solutions company Opera Tech, which it acquired in late March, and voice agent company Receptive AI, which it also announced it acquired in late March. And Fragment co-founders Olivier Moindroth and Guillaume Gentail will be joining the Sierra team. And with peace talks stalled and US President Donald Trump offering no timeline for ending the war with Iran, the question on everyone's lips is, who can withstand the pain inflicted by this war the longest? There is growing evidence that it's Iran. With no imminent threat of a return to a punishing bombing campaign, Iran is achieving its central war aim of driving up the price of oil, and with it pressuring Trump to accede to some of its demands. And it is payday Friday, and a popular shopping mall located in eastern Caracas is packed. But while the hallways look full and the display windows are brightly lit and well stocked, many people enter and leave empty-handed. Shoppers walk around, browse, compare prices, but they buy very little. The exception is a store belonging to a renowned international lingerie brand, around which a line has formed following the announcement of special discounts on certain products.
That an internal watchdog for the United States Department of Justice, DOJ, will review whether the federal government complied with a law mandating the release of files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein files. The Office of Inspector General, which operates independently of the department, explained on Thursday that its probe would focus on Epstein Files Transparency Act passed in November.
And as the US expands its war with Iran, opposition is growing, not just among the public, but inside the military itself. Some service members are questioning orders, exploring conscientious objection, and speaking out. What's driving this shift, and how far could it go? In this episode,
That who? Real Betis versus Real Madrid. What? Spanish La Liga where? Estadio La Cartuja de Sevilla in Seville, Spain when? Friday at 9 p.m. 20 GMT. How to follow? We'll have all the build-up on Al Jazeera Sport from 17 GMT in advance of our live text commentary stream. Real Madrid will continue their pursuit of league leaders Barcelona when they travel to Real Betis on Friday. But the record La Liga winners know that any slip-up now will be terminal for their hopes of lifting silverware this season.
And Trump's twice-chosen pick to run the US Federal Cybersecurity Agency, CISA, has requested to withdraw from the position, leaving the agency without any clear person to lead it on a permanent basis. In a letter to the White House on Wednesday, Sean Planky requested that the Trump administration withdraw his nomination, citing a holdup in the Senate, which is required to hold a vote to approve his appointment. And what if you could outsource your doom scrolling? That's the premise behind the new startup Noscroll, which is offering an AI-powered bot that can browse your social feeds, news sites, and other online chatter, then text you when something important happens. No feed, no brain rot. No RageBit reads Noscroll's pitch to users, just Signal.
That Instagram is testing a new image-sharing app called Instance. The company confirmed to TechCrunch on Thursday. The app, which is available in Spain and Italy, that lets users share disappearing photos with their friends that can be viewed only once and remain available for 24 hours. With Instance, you capture a photo in a single tap with no editing allowed. The app doesn't allow uploads from your camera roll and only lets you capture and share content using the in-app camera. While you can add text to your instance, as these unedited photos are called, you can't modify them any further. That Beirut, Lebanon. At a store in Beirut, a shop owner breaks into laughter. "No, I don't want to comment on the negotiations," he told Al Jazeera, referring to Thursday evening's direct talks between Israel and Lebanon in Washington, D.C. "If I say the wrong thing, someone might..." That South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has suspended the national police chief after he was charged with breaking finance laws over the awarding of a healthcare contract. National Police Commissioner Fanny Masemola was suspended on Thursday in the latest scandal to hit South Africa's police force. Ramaphosa is under increasing pressure to stamp out corruption before voting in local elections begins in November.
And Republicans in the United States Senate have passed a resolution to fund U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, SE and Customs and Border Protection, CBP, and the first step in ending a months-long standoff sparked by opposition to U.S. President Donald Trump's mass deportation drive. Hours of debate gave way early Thursday to a vote on the resolution in which Republicans, and who hold a slim 53-47 majority in the chamber, used a tactic that allowed them to proceed with a simple majority rather than overcoming a 60-vote threshold.